Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome to Real Law State with Patty and Kate. And we have a really juicy one tonight. And it's interesting because we were just talking about it and we almost just ran over, and we were almost late for you because it was just so interesting, our conversation. So Patty, have you ever stayed at a bed and breakfast? I mean an Airbnb?
An Airbnb, I did actually. Just recently I went down to Maryland and I wanted to be able to bring my big old dog, and you can't go to a hotel with a Great Dane. So I found an Airbnb down there and we took the road trip, and that's where we stayed, and it was lovely.
And tell me a little bit about the owners.
The owner, it turns out, because when we got there, I hadn't met him. I did a little bit of my due diligence online trying to find him.
AKA stalker.
Yeah, a little bit. So, so he actually is a realtor, and he purchased this property kind of as a getaway for himself, and then learned that he could make some money
In the
doing
meantime.
an Airbnb,
Right.
weekly when he wasn't using it.
So I have a friend who Airbnbs her third bedroom in her house. So it's on the third floor.
Wow,
It's her
that's interesting.
her daughter wanted to go to a college. So there were two colleges in this town. One of them her daughter had a full scholarship to, and the other one she did not. And guess which one her daughter wanted to go to? Yeah.
Of course.
So anyway, so she Airbnb'd her bedroom while she was gone in order to offset the cost of her college. So why are we telling you these stories? Because the way that this short-term rental scenario came was through homeowners that thought that for offsetting some costs, you have some stories that you're going to share about maybe their taxes, the tax bill, that they would do some short-term rentals. And so those are some scenarios on, I think, how it started. What would be your experience to how these weekly rentals, and what do you think?
Well, I mean, we're here in Mattapoisett, Massachusetts, which is along the waterfront for anybody who doesn't know. And there are all these beach communities, and people have been renting them out weekly forever and a day, forever. It's just the way, it's the nature, it's the characteristic, it's what happens around here in Mattapoisett. Right. And so it's a way to offset taxes, because what we know for sure, what's guaranteed in life, death and taxes. Right. So the taxes of the property went up. How are you going to offset those costs? Hey, let's rent out our lovely beach home every week, and we can offset it that way. So that's been around forever.
Okay, so that's the scenario of what we have seen for who these people are that we're talking about today. So we're talking about, generally speaking, the person who needs to make a little extra money for their taxes, or for their kids' college, or for they're only there sometimes, so they're just offsetting the cost of the place, right? Yeah. So we're not really talking about, by and large, these weekly rentals being career landlords.
No, and a lot of them around here, I've met a lot of families who maybe they were lucky enough to inherit this place. It's where mom and dad they have these fond memories growing up, going down to the beach. They don't live around here anymore, but they want to keep that family property in the family. But the tax, of course, have increased like tenfold since when they were a child. There's insurance costs, flood insurance. Don't get me started on that conversation.
This is what happened to us.
I know, ranting.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of costs associated with it. They're just trying to save the family home. So why not offset those costs with these short-term rentals?
Okay, so sounds good to me. So tell me a little bit about your experience with the law that was passed at the end of December that's going to be effective soon.
Yes, coming up, I think it's July 1st, if it doesn't get bumped again, which would be nice, but I'm kind of doubting it at this point. Right. So here we are in what I call Taxachusetts. And so with the onset of Airbnb, VRBO, all of those online portals, more and more people are going to the Airbnbs and forgoing the hotels. Well, of course, the state's losing a lot of revenue because they're not getting the room tax from these hotels because everybody's going to these private homes. So the state's looking to recoup some of their lost revenue. I get that. Yeah. However, there's all these, you're always talking about unintended consequences, and there has been so much that's been happening. So now the state is saying, hey, you have to register your short-term rental. Anything that you're going to, it doesn't apply to your month-to-month long-term leases, your regular tenancies, or if you're only going to do this like 2 weeks out of the year.
14 days, right?
Yeah, anything more than the 14 days where you're going to do these weekly rentals, you have to register your property, and good old DOR, Department of Revenue of Massachusetts, is going to tax you 5.7% on your proceeds, and that's just at the state level.
Just Massachusetts.
Just Massachusetts. I don't know what other states are doing. Lord help us, they're probably all watching us, waiting what's going to happen. If they can recoup some money and not be sued, then they'll jump on board too. But and then the town level can also add on a tax. Some towns have done it, some towns have not. They can go up to, I think it's 6% or something. So
they redid the short-term rental lease, and they actually put in like fill in the blanks. And the first one they identified that the state on, and then they put local, and they actually put like up to 6%.
Yep.
So what Patty and I were saying earlier is like, who's going to do 3% when it says right here you can do 6%, right? And then it talked about a couple other taxes to put onto that tax while they're at it.
Yeah, because there's a community impact fee of 3% that they can tack on, which that one I do understand the purpose of that one. That is to offset the consequence that we're having of losing some of our low income housing and our longer term rentals, because people, if you can rent out your house for $1,500 a week versus $1,500 a month, why wouldn't you do that? So now we're losing all these other long-term rentals. So that community impact fee is supposed to go towards helping find a solution for that.
Okay.
And then if you're down the Cape,
Cape Massachusetts,
2.75% on top of that. So you're almost up to 20% that you are paying off of this rentals. The money that you're using to offset your taxes, insurance, you now have to do.
And you have to have
more.
Insurance. That's also on the thing. There's another form. There's another form for your insurance to go with it. There's 3 new forms for you realtors out there that have to be involved, as well as registering with the Department of Revenue as the person who's handling that. So I will say from a